So super duper welcome. So I'm delighted that we're all together. You've received your kit. So what we'll do is I'll walk through the kit that we have in front of us. We'll go through piece by piece. We'll talk a little bit about our own inspiration. And then I will help you create a ring of your dreams. And then you will send that ring back to me. I'll cast it. I'll turn it into 925 sterling silver, or if you choose to cast it in gold, that's amazing. People do that. You can cast in really any metal type you like, and we'll just configure the cost based on the weight of the metal, of the value of the metal you're buying, really. And so I send that ring to you in about 4 to 5 weeks. So this is a really awesome way to make something with your hands that'll last forever. So we'll just jump on in. So the first thing in the top of your kit, you can kind of pull everything just gently off that insert. It's all just tagged on there. The first thing to take a look at is the little cork pad work area, a little workstation, where you can set that down on your kitchen table or wherever you are, so you don't worry about nicking anything up. It's also good to kind of lean onto when you're maybe applying pressure to the wax as you carve it. The second thing you'll see in your kit is a little run of sandpapers. So you have the light gray, the purple, and the black, and those are fine, medium, and coarse sandpapers, and they work exactly the way they do on wood and metal. The coarse takes away a lot of material, the medium takes away less, and the fine is more of a finish. So if you want to smooth out your wax, you could use the fine. It really won't take away much material though. But the idea with the sandpaper, like this coarse grit sandpaper, is your friend, because that's what you can really like lean on to remove material, to shape the ring in a way that you want. The next thing we have in our kit are these two things, a candle and a little finger protector. And the finger protector is there. Yes, you could still get hurt with this finger protector, but it's a reminder to please be careful with the sharp objects we're about to play with, and there is a little fire involved. So the votive is here. You can light that up if you have some a light around, light that up, and that's going to be what we put our metal tools into, and that will do amazing things to the wax. It'll cruise through the wax really easily. It'll melt the wax and cause cool texture. So definitely light your little votive, and we'll be using that as we go. The third thing in your kit is the wax. I know some of you have like a bulkier wax, like a thicker wax than what you have in your kit. So we'll just work through that as we get to that part, but your wax is in there. Then the next thing you have are these two little deals at the bottom. And so one is a pencil. That's for sketching. We're going to do a little sketching. And then this thing that looks like a tiny little belt is a ring sizer. So that you just pop around your finger, and you get to figure out what finger you want to wear on, and wherever the arrow is pointing is your ring size. And in the golden days when we were doing the class in person, I would come around the table and I would use this tool, which has a blade on it, and I would use that to size your ring right there. So you'd be working on a ring that was sized to you. However, because we're doing this virtually, just measure your finger and then write it down somewhere. When I send you the follow-up email with your shipping info, just let me know the size of your ring and I will size it for you. And then last but not least are our two metal tools in our kit, both sharp, but the one much sharper. This is a blade in here in the white little rectangular tool. So these are both tools that can go in the fire and go in the flame. So you can use them what's called in wax jewelry circles cold without the flame, and you get a nice crisp whittle, you get a nice sharp line, you just sort of slice away. But if you stick it in the flame, if you put your tool in the flame, and we'll go through this once we get started, it melts the wax, it kind of causes cool grooves in the wax, and it becomes kind of a whole way you can design your ring, because you can just sort of let the heat and the fire and the blade do its thing as you cut the wax. So it's really fun to play with. So those are all of our things. So if everyone can grab a little piece of scrap paper, or you can even draw on the interior of your box, I was going to start to talk a little bit about inspiration and then turn the floor over to you all to hear what maybe you might be bringing as far as inspiration is to your project. And then we can talk a little bit about that.
That I always find like I collect like big chunky heavy metal jewelry and like biker jewelry and rock and roll jewelry just since I was a kid. So I have a lot of stuff from, you know, I lived in London for 100 years. So I have a ton of like original Great Frog jewelry and stuff like that. And then I also love your work with all the kind of organic shapes, and I want to do, I think I want to do something that's kind of like a marriage of both of those things, because I don't think I'm going to have the skills to make the perfect sculpture, like the perfect skull or whatever. So it's going to be like abstract, organic, heavy metal jewelry.
I like that.
So I think like having something that feels like it like fits in with this, and also like I don't have any silver things that, well, I guess I do. So something kind of like not like, it doesn't have to be super delicate, but definitely like more organic and more like, I don't know, maybe like mountainous a little bit. Like I'm feeling that kind of right now.
Very cool. This is, I just happen to have this wax right here. This is a little, this was done in a socially distanced carve I did a week ago or so. And it's just here on my bench. But this is from the wax that you have there, and it's just a simple peak. You know, it's just a simple point.
Yeah, I love that.
And then the pointy part that's pointing up right now is thicker. And then the bottom part that's underneath the finger is quite thin. So it's quite a taper. And it's just the simplest, sweetest little ring. And the carver did it in like half the class time. So just to share with you, that's like a very simple shape that might work with like your ring assortment that you can play with. You could do a domed top or any kind of shape you want, really, you know.
Cool.
Well, so
we're over here spending lots of money. We've decided now we want to do stackables.
Yeah. I mean, that is the fun with wax, because basically, you know, this is all, how does this all happen? The way it happens is through the lost wax casting process. That is the technical term for how what you create in wax becomes metal. So it's a 1-for-1, you know, wherever you have green wax, that will be the metal that you choose. In this case, silver. If you do something gold, that it's a 1-for-1. You don't lose any volume, and you have such detail. It's really amazing when the wax translates to metal. You'll see the mark of your hand. You'll see the subtle, you know, if you're using the fine grit sandpaper, you will see the subtleties of what you put in there. And as we move forward, we can start talking about tactics with the sandpaper, but you know, texture is really the second step we're going to be thinking about. The first thing to think about as you approach your ring is the silhouette, the shape of it. If it were to throw a shadow, what would that be? Right? So that's really where we're going to start. And the way I begin thinking about that when I have my paper is I start to think about the ring from 3 directions. I think about it from the top, so looking down, the side, so what does it look like when it's at side view, and then the bottom, what does the back of it look like? So that if I think about it from those 3 questions, it'll help me understand, am I doing something that's blocky and banded and all the same width around? Or am I doing something that tapers one way or the other? Or am I doing something full of holes? So it can be very big on the hand, but it has perforations in it. So that makes it comfortable. So start to maybe sketch or at least think about your ring from those 3 directions, the top, the side, and the bottom. What's your stack look like, Noni?
Well, I don't know. It hadn't even occurred to me until I was playing with them for sizing. And suddenly I was like, oh, you could make a whole family.
Yeah, and I mean, it can get pretty cool. Yeah, like you can, and
chunky,
then
skinny, chunky at the moment.
Yeah, and then you could do cool things with where maybe they did it down with each other. So when you're looking at it like this way, this way, maybe like one, you know, one steps down, one, you know, they could have a cool interaction, the 3 of them when you're looking through them.
I could be just copying Amanda now. I'm like, oh, they look like little mountains.
Do it.
Well, I will tell you this, the mountains are an inspiration for many. Amanda, have you started sanding or are you doing some sketching?
I sketched it, and now I'm just trying to sand down like the band part to be a little bit smaller and then leave the top for now.
Excellent. So while you're thinking of your creative ideas, there's a million different ways you can customize your ring. And so that's sort of the preface, like we can do anything. A lot of these projects sometimes evolve into different kinds of projects because people remember like an amazing stone that their aunt gave them, or they want to do something with a gemstone. And that's always a yes, we can always figure it out. And that's sort of a special, you know, a conversation about that. But within the Wax On Workshop, you can cover your ring in gold. You can select little gemstones that I have here in the studio, all the gemstones that are colored, as well as diamonds, black ones, and white ones. And I set little 2mm stones as a like add-on that people can do in terms of making the ring more unique to them. And lots of times people do like birthstone arrangements of their loved ones. So they'll do like a little rainbow color that is significant in, you know, a sentimental way. So these are all things you can figure out later, but as you're designing your ring, the most important thing is to think about, if you're going to want to make a big ring, start with a big wax. Amanda, how's the ring looking compared to your set? How's it? Are you picking up any elements of the other rings?
Yeah, I think it's nice to be able to like look at band width like already on and like see kind of what that is helpful.
I think that's such a big part of comfort too. You know, like for my, if I wear the rings that I'm comfortable in and the ones that feel a little too chunky in the back or a little too, you know, when they're uncomfortable, you just notice. You notice during the day. How's the nesting going? Let's see. Can you show what your stackers look like now?
I feel like I keep screwing up whereby like one side's getting too skinny. So I need to
okay. Yep. So yeah, you got to work more on this side right now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And like this guy, I think I may have gone too far. He's got.
No, I think you're okay. Cause it's going to, well, how do those rings fit right now? Are they going to get much bigger or smaller? They're going to go smaller?
Smaller. Let's see. Let me put them all together.
So you're totally fine, Noni. I mean, something to say. Yeah, no, that's a hefty ring still. So you just bring it in, bring in the wide side to match your thin side. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I need to bring in the wide side. That's right. I need to make it match. You know what I love? I love the combination of turquoise and diamonds. I just really nice about the high-low. So I would be down to do something with like some little sprinkling of diamonds with like a big old chunky piece of turquoise somewhere.
I have, yeah, and I don't know if you have turquoise in your hands that you want to use, but I have slabs of turquoise that we could pull from, or you could do, again, to play on the high-low, like, you know, you could do rough or you could do more of a like refined cut, but yeah, I have some really pretty turquoise.
Yeah.
I love turquoise too. Oh, fun. Okay, yeah, cool. Well, and then you'll have fun when you're thinking about placement for those elements, Noni. Yeah. Since you have that height on your stackers, your question is sort of like stones on the forward facing it towards you, forward facing out, or top, right? Because you kind of have all these dimensions you can play with, which is cool.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Awesome, sweet, good creativity over there. Noni, what kind of turquoise do you like? A lumpy? Like, do you envision one small and lumpy or something more like honed and perfectly round, or what's your vision?
I'm thinking, you know, it's funny. I'm thinking something fairly moderately to heavily veined, and maybe I don't often purchase like organic kind of chunky turquoise, so maybe something a little earthier, but yeah, maybe something. I mean, I spend a lot of time in Santa Fe, and I'm so just enamored of that whole energy and vibe. So maybe I'm trying to go there a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and I think, you know, as your ring comes together in what you're doing, that will speak to you as well. You'll probably have some more clarity at the end of your carving process, because then you'll say maybe your design is more sleek and you'll want more something to contrast or go with that. So your piece will speak to you sometimes at the end when you don't know what it is.
It's funny, just look. When we started, I assumed that I was going to be making something that looked like something like a skull or a rose or whatever. Now I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't have to look like anything. It can just be a shape.
Totally. And I think it's so cool when that creative evolution, what you just said, when that happens, isn't that cool? You just learn to go with the flow of the wax.
So Ryan has a question. Can he, I shall ask it on his behalf.
No, please. I'm a mute. I don't speak without permission. So.
I only see your shoulder. It's a mystery shoulder. I just see a shoulder.
That's all you get.
Sit over there and keep carving. Can you put, he's doing like a channeled ring. Can you put wood down the channel of his ring?
Ooh, yes. The answer is yes. That is not my area of expertise, but I have a jewelry designer friend that works with wood and metal. So we can certainly figure that out. And what I would say is we will probably, you do your design as you're doing, and then we'll know that like per the guidance of the wood advisor, we'll just have to adjust like the depth of the channel perhaps. but the answer is yeah. Do you have a kind of wood in mind or wood that you want to use, or just like a color tone that you like?
I literally just saw something online that I was like, oh, I like that. And I guess, is there something that you do that's like an approximation of, or like something more earthy like that? Or like, because I don't know how easy that would be, but I just saw it and was like,
I mean, yeah, I'm thinking we could set, like, because you want that warmth kind of contrasted, like a warm wood tone contrasted. I mean, so
Yeah.
first thing is to explore the actual wood inlay, because
right.
I mean, I have an inlay guy here on the island that I work with. He's pulling out like mother of pearl out of this for me for a ring. This guy that's my client, he's a diver, and he found this mother of pearl
Gorgeous.
shell.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so my client brought this to me, and we're pulling out some chunks from it, and he's making it into his engagement ring for his girlfriend. All this to say, I met my inlay guy on this project. So I'll ask about the wood. But if you wanted to do something that was like a brown, warm color, there's certainly stones that we could do that could feel masculine, like maybe square or set in a way. And then the other option is a different metal type, right? So you have a silver ring is what we're talking about, but you could do a wrap of like gold around that if you wanted that warmth in there. Yeah. Always lots of choices. But yeah, I'm thinking if it wasn't wood inlay, what would it be? Maybe it'd be like I don't know, amber or something like that. I don't know. Is there a stone that you like that's in that warm color?
That would be cool. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think what I liked about the wood was, yeah, the warmth of it and the, for lack of a better term, like more masculine sort of. Because I don't own rings.
This will be your first ring.
This will be my first ring.
That's amazing.
Special.
How cool is that?
What? And tell me your first name, sir.
Ryan. I'm Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Cat. So what I can do is look up some. I think a square. I love a square stone. I think that is masculine and really looks cool in a channel set. So I could look up and give you back some like options. So probably what we'll do is you do your carving, and then I can just email you with some images, like so you can get a feel for the look of what we could do, and then we could go from there.
Cool.
So say on this stackable, if I wanted to do something that looked like a line of turquoise, so it would end up being the same stone cut 3 times and set in. But then if I wanted to do, so that would create like that stripe look. But then what if you wanted to do like sprinkle the diamonds? Should I just put with a Sharpie pen dots where I want the little tiny diamonds to go? Okay.
Yep. And then the other thing, Noni, specify the width of your stripe.
Right.
Specify, and that's for me, because then that's what I'll spec, right? I'll look for it'll be a baguette or emerald cut, right? Because we're doing rectangles or squares, right? Depending how they go. So you draw that based on your visual desire of how wide you want it, mark it, and then that's where that will go.
So you don't want me to carve out the actual trench for it?
Carve it. Yeah, no, go for it. Cool. Carve it. Yeah, if that's what you want to do, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Carve it up. How's it coming along? You feeling good? We're at like, what are we at? 2:30. Yeah, we got
like a gemstone texture too, which is nice. Like,
cool. Yeah, I can totally see the profile from here. It looks awesome.
My eyes are bigger than my budget. I'm like, and then I'll just encrust this part in diamonds. It'll be fabulous.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I know. Well, if you want bling, there's non-diamond options to bling. So you can bling it out and not have it all be diamonds. You know, you could do like topaz, you know, we could do Swarovski and just really go to the bling end, but you could do topaz and have tons of bling, but it's just not quite as blingy as a diamond. Also, moissanite is actually much closer to a diamond and very sustainable.
So like, what if, see the middle guy?
Yep.
What if the middle guy was just like a line of moissanite for that like super like sparkle, 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 like a line down the middle. And then these other 2 guys could have some sort of turquoise slice that's like broken.
Yeah.
Like,
I would run your turquoise through that diamond row.
Oh yeah?
So you hold your stripe. You don't get rid of that idea. You hold that turquoise stripe, but then that diamond one has all diamonds on either side of it. Right. So that one to wear alone would be like turquoise diamonds on the side, potentially. Because I love the idea of a like vertical element connecting those three. That's super cool.
My ring is dangerously similar to what you said.
No, you've done a lot and you really have evolved it. It's dialed in now. It's finessed. It's finessed.
I'm gonna be sitting here till midnight. I can tell you that much.
Oh, I hope that's a good thing. Yeah, no, it looks really good. You've definitely sleekified it. It's very sleek now. So
I gotta
you've
think about what I want to do to the top.
I know it's kind of fun that you have that system working. There's a lot of options, but the right thing will come to you. I love the idea of the sparkle and the turquoise though. It's going to be beautiful. All right, my beautiful carvers, we are 1 minute away from our end of time with each other, but by no means should this end your carving and your creating. If you want to keep on going, you do that. But let's just do a last little check-in. Can I see yours, Amanda? Noni, what do you have?
Yep.
Put it on your finger.
It doesn't quite fit because I didn't carve it out, but
What
Awesome.
else are you gonna do?
it'll end up on this one. And I'll just do it in silver, which I think will be clean and nice and shiny. So.
And then are you thinking you want to just do, there's 3 finish options. You can do matte, which is kind of almost buffed to add a little texture to bring down the shine. Then there's shiny, which is basically as you make it, but we'll just polish it. And then the third is mirror finish. So that's like all mark of your hand is moved out of there and it's just perfect.
I think probably the second one.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense for your design, I think.
Yeah.
What do you have over there, Team Noni, Brian?
I've got them rounded on the edges, and then this guy's still pretty flat in the middle, and then that's rounded on the outside. It's like a nice little hamburger.
Totally, yeah.
I don't know what
It's
to do
awesome.
here, but I think I'm gonna do some sort of like triangle, like zigzag kind of native looking shapes with some turquoise and some sparkles and stuff to try and make it look a bit, I don't know, probably take some of the weight off the sides here. I don't know.
I love
it. Ryan's turned out great. Ryan dug out this really nice channel.
Wow.
Like did a really pretty impressive.
Wow, awesome.
A perfect
Is that
channel.
good? I have
Yeah.
no frame of reference. I've never done it.
2 thumbs up. It's great. You did great. It's awesome. Thank you so much for doing the Wax On workshop with me tonight and to just experience what making a ring of your own elegant, luxurious piece of jewelry, all made by you.
I love it.
So good job, everybody.
Thanks, Kat.